Wait, how's it going? Live chat. Here we go. I just thought I'd jump on, everyone. Brad Howell. Brad's normally a good jibber jabberer, and he got lost for words tonight, so I thought I'll jump on and bloody say go as well. So anyway, someone went ding, ding, ding. Just wait for a few to jump on. So Lukey Reed, Pete McMurtry. How are you guys? I won't be on long, guys. I just I come on the camping with mates thing and it only lasted half an hour. I thought, that's piss poor, lads. Come on. Keep gibbering. We'll get on and have a chat about camping with mates, let you know what I'm doing and all that type of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Wixie, how are you, mate? Terry, righto, most of you have jumped on. I won't be on long, guys. I just thought I'd jump on and say a quick g'day. I felt like sitting in the chat room having a gibber tonight, and they called it up after 31 minutes. As I said, it takes me 31 minutes to get warmed up normally by the time I say g'day to everyone. Not long now till the Camping with Mates event. How good's that going to be? It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So Terry and Robin are already on the road, everyone. I think they're crossing the border tomorrow. Terry, g'day. Brett, how are you, mate? SMG's on. Hope you're well. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic event. Hopefully the weather sounds like the weather's going to be in the low to mid-20s, which is going to be beautiful camping weather. So it might be nice, still a bit cool at night and beautiful days. Hopefully the rain stays away. They've had enough rain down there. But it's just going to be good. And I think it was Wixie or Landy put a thing up and said, who hasn't been camping at one of these events before? And if anyone's watching and you haven't been to one of these camping events and you're going to this one, they are absolutely fantastic. And I'll keep saying it. The thing that makes these camping events, everyone, is the people that go there, not what's going on around there. It's the people there just sitting around having a chat with really good people. It's absolutely fantastic. So g'day, Justin. How are you? You got to get to one of these events one day, Justin. Be good to see you at one of them, mate. G'day, Lynn. Jeff Keane. How are you, mate? Hey, Jeff, that thing you sent me today, mate, she's just retiring, mate. So the media made it out to sound like it was a big scandal or something. She's just retiring, mate. So there was nothing to see there. Jeff Canine, this will be my first looking forward to it. Jeff, you're going to have a great time, mate. There's some good people there, and I can vouch for that. There are some very, very good people, and that's the good thing about these camping events. There's no dickheads there. Everyone just goes there, has a great time. No one causes any trouble. There's no bloody dickheads. It's just really, really good people, and it's just a great community, this one. It really is. It's I tell you now, and I'll keep saying it, if there's a better community on YouTube, I'd like to see it. I reckon we've got it, guys. We mightn't be the biggest, but we're the best. This community here, I've never seen anything like it. And I watch a lot of different YouTube stuff. I don't think anyone can match what this community does. It's absolutely fantastic. And hey, Jared, how are you, mate? Didn't you have to have a run-in with one of those sovereign citizen? You wouldn't believe it, Jared. I'm glad you said that. Remember, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, Jared. I'll do it now in case I forget to come back there. Remember that maniac that came into my yard that time, guys, and chipped me on flying the Australian flag? I had the red flag, the red ensign flying. It was the normal red ensign, the one that the Merchant Navy flies, okay, not the white ensign of the Royal Australian Navy. I had the Australian national flag, the blue ensign, blue, the blue ensign flying on one side, and on the other side I had the red ensign, which is the red ensign of the Merchant Navy. As we know, the first Australian flag was a red ensign, and all the stars had different points. Anyway, some wanker came in and chipped me and said he had a ID card around his neck and all that. I'm a sovereign citizen, and I've got a problem with the flag you're flying. It was something to do with me flying the 1901 red flag, the first one back in 1901 when we became a nation. Anyway, I was in Super Cheap Auto today, and that dickhead walked in, and I couldn't help it. I left my gear on the counter at Super Cheap. I said, I'm just going to keep this here. And I went over, Rafa, you dirty little prick. Rafa just dropped one, everyone. Oh, my God. Anyway, I went over. I thought, he walked through. I thought, he looks familiar. And he had a limp. And I thought, that's him. That's the wanker that came in my yard and chipped me on the. Anyway, I went up to him and said, hey, mate. He looked at me and he had a horrified look on his face and he recognised me. I said, yeah, that bloke had come in my yard chipping me on my flag. And I think he thought I'm fucked here. This bloke's going to start bombing me with uppercuts. I had no intention to do it, but I said, you that bloke had come in my yard about the flags? And he looked at me and went, yeah. And I said, have you been studying up on your flags, mate? So he trying to tell me I was flying the 1901 Red Ensign that had the different, every star on there had a different amount of points on there, without going into flag history, guys. Whereas the current Red Ensign that the Merchant Navy fly, all the stars got 7 points except for Epsilon, the little one in the Southern Cross. It's got 5 points. All the rest have got 7. So he thought I was flying the 1901 flag, and he had a problem with it. I don't know what he was. I knew where he was going with it, but I cut him short. Anyway, I said to him today, you've been studying up in your flags, mate? I said, because the one I was flying that day wasn't the 1901 flag. And he goes, oh, yeah, I was driving past and I didn't get a chance to look at it properly. And I thought it was the other one. I said, no, I said, it wasn't. Anyway, he shakes me hand. I said, oh, mate, see you later. So I went back, grabbed my gear and left. I thought, I can't let him go without saying good day to him. Anyway, he shit his pants. I think he thought I was going to have a crack at him, but I didn't. I was quite nice to him. So anyway, so there you go. The old bloody sovereign citizen, and that is, they're maniacs, guys. They're maniacs. They were sovereign citizens, the ones who murdered those 2 police officers at Williambilla out in West Queensland a couple of years ago. Rachel McCrow and I knew I'd forget his name. Matthew someone. The 2 young Connies, the Queensland Connies. Anyway, it happened again to yesterday in Victoria. They executed a search warrant on his property. Why, I don't know. Whether he was known for drugs or what, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. But they went there with a search warrant, and it sounds like there were uniformed officers and detectives. And 2 officers lost their life. I think it was a detective and a uniformed officer, and one got shot through the thigh. So he was waiting for them, and he was a sovereign citizen, still on the run, the piece of shit. So anyway, you know what's concerning, but Jared, I've been reading the comment section. Listen, I know Victoria Police didn't get a good rap during COVID. They even I was disgusted in their actions, but they were acting on the government at the time, that bloody Daniel Andrews government. They were acting on his orders, but the amount of comments going that are praising this bloke for killing 2 cops and that is concerning. It is concerning. It's not 1 or 2 comments, guys. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And it's very concerning that the amount of people out there have got no problem with a couple of cops getting blown away. Is that what our country has become? That we sit back and we applaud that 2 cops have been shot dead? Dead set. Oh, I'd fucking love to run into these people. I really would. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty sad. So thoughts are with the families of those police officers. I'm sure they all had families, a mum and a dad, and probably had wife and kids for all we know. And they've been murdered, guys, by this arsehole. And he was known to police. So he's obviously, I don't know, he lost his license. I heard today he was on a 2-year disqualification for his license because sovereign citizens don't need licenses. They don't need permission to drive cars in this country and all that like the rest of us do. Apparently they got their own rules and don't need it. So Judo has, yes, Justin, I did hear that, and the police commissioner, they asked him about that. There were detectives from the CPIU, Child Protection Investigation Unit. I don't know what they're called down in Victoria. We had your normal CIB, Criminal Investigation Branch. So your detectives here in Queensland were split into different departments, guys. But here in Innisfail, we had CIB, Criminal Investigation Branch. They used to target druggies, deal with a murder, all that type of stuff, serious offences. And then we had CPIU detectives, Child Protection Investigation Unit. And they used to deal with juvenile offences against juveniles, but also offences against juveniles. And apparently there were CPIU detectives going in. So Justin's just said, this guy, there's a chance he could be some sort of pedo or something like that. Let's see what happens there. We don't want to jump to conclusions, but that's why the search warrant was executed. Maybe they thought he was in possession of child exploitation material off the internet or whatever. We used to get a lot of those people, guys, that people keep an eye on what's being downloaded on the internet, and a lot of people download child exploitation material, which is pretty sick. And if you get caught with it, it's a criminal offence, and so it should be. Maybe that's what this bloke was doing. So he's a piece of shit at the end of the day. He's an absolute piece of shit. He's probably a pedophile. The laws don't apply to him, and now he's murdered 2 police officers. So I hope the Special Operations Group, I think they're called Soggies down there, or TRG. Justin, help me out. They're called Special Emergency Response Team up here, CERT. Down there, it's either TRG, Tactical Response Group, or Special Operations Group, Soggies or TRG. I'm not quite sure what they're called in Victoria. Let's hope he gets the same treatment that those 3 pieces of shit that murdered the 2 Queensland police officers copped a couple of years ago. They didn't make it to court, everyone. They did not make it to court. 100% a rock spider buck. Well, there you go. There you go. What a piece of shit. Yeah. So, but it's concerning, hey, how many people were on there applauding that he just murdered 2 police officers? Our country is in a world of hurt, guys. Years ago, and I know all the decent people will sit back and go, that's bullshit, I hope he gets what's coming to him, 2 police officers are out there doing their jobs. No one likes getting speeding ticket. We all know the Victorian police were on the nose during COVID, acting on Daniel Andrews' bloody thing, but no one deserves to go to work and get murdered, everyone. I've been in that job for 19 years, where you go to work and you hope you come back in one piece. And luckily I did, but a lot of them don't. There's a lot of police officers and correctional officers that have not come home in one piece, let me tell you. Not just the coppers either. SOG, is it Special Operations Group? Yeah. Whoever they are, TRG or SOG, Special Operations Group, I hope they find him, and I hope he doesn't make it to court, everyone. Let's just keep it at that. Yeah. Yeah, they'll get this clean. I hope so, Mad Mick. Yeah. What a piece of shit. And killing cops doesn't get much worse than that. And if he's a bloody rock spider, or he's doing shit against kids and all that type of stuff, then he deserves everything coming his way. Piece of shit. We need to rid the world of these types of people, don't we? We really do. Anyway, Jared, thanks for reminding me about that, mate. I was going to talk about it. It's pretty bad, eh? Yeah, the world's a mess at the moment, and they haven't found him yet. So let's hope they find him. Let's hope he doesn't harm anyone else. The school was locked down yesterday and all that type of stuff. So I'm sure they're out there looking for him. Remember the guy in New South Wales, Naden or whatever his name was? They took years to find him. He was hiding out around Gloucester there. And I remember the police set up their CP. Oh, shit. I need a drink of water. At Drifter headquarters there, apparently. Malcolm Naden or whatever his name was. Yeah. Let's hope the Sogs get him. Yeah, I know, Justin. We all know what needs to happen to that piece of shit. And he doesn't need to make it to court, mate. They need to, because if he goes to prison, guys, he'll be hailed a hero. I'll tell you now, I've worked in a prison. if that guy goes to prison or makes it to prison, he'll be like a hero in prison because he's killed 2 cops. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be 6 foot under. And I hope the Soggies get a bit of payback for the 2 coppers that he murdered and the one that's in hospital at the moment. Yeah, so absolutely it is, Brad, and all decent people. We're all brought up to respect police. None of us like getting a speeding ticket and all that. You know, like I've had speeding tickets too, and they give you a ticket and walk off, you arsehole. But, you know, like if you're not speeding and you're not doing the wrong thing, they leave you alone. This guy, it's a bit more than that. He's lost his license for 2 years because he's a sovereign citizen, but he was into some serious stuff, apparently. Whether it was kid porn or he was actually an actual pedophile, I do not know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but there were CPIU officers. And one of the journalists actually asked the police commissioner about that, and he just steered clear of it, which he's probably got to do at the moment, everyone. So anyway, hopefully he won't need to go up on kiddie porn charges and all that. Hopefully the Soggy boys will deal with him in the appropriate manner. And I hope they put one right between his eyes, the prick. Anyway, illegal there. Well, we don't know what kind of firearms he had either. Apparently the firearms used at Williambilla in Queensland were registered bolt actions and that. And I'll tell you what, there were 3 of them, 2 males and a female. Did you see the state of the CERT armoured vehicle, the Bearcat or whatever they're called? Geez, they put some rounds into that. The windscreen was riddled. So they were well armed, those Queensland ones. Not quite sure. And once again, they asked the Victorian Police Commissioner today what kind of firearms were used, and he just flobbed it off and he went, long arms, as in they were rifles. What kind of rifles? Were they bolt action? Were they registered in his name? Were they bolt action 6.5s or bolt action 7.62s or a bolt action 5.56? Or did they have illegal 5.56 bloody AR type weapons? He didn't answer that. I don't know. Probably he doesn't want to put the fear in there. Maybe the guy's got a couple of AR-15s that weren't handed in back in the 90s when we had to hand our weapons in, guys. There are those types of weapons getting around, everyone. Not everyone handed their weapons in. Only the innocent people handed their weapons in. I know there are weapons hiding in PVC pipes in backyards, buried. I've heard a lot of rumours about that. So they're out there. They're illegal firearms. Whether they're illegal firearms or the weapons he used were registered firearms, I do not know. One would hope that before they turn up to execute a search warrant, they know exactly what firearms are registered to that address. Okay, that was one of the prerequisites. If you were ever going to execute a search warrant on a bloody property of any sort, it always came up in Q Prime. There'd be a red flag there, weapons light, and you'd click on there and go, right, and this part of your briefing before you go and execute the search warrant, when you sit your team down and you do a brief about what everyone's roles are, who's going to hit what door and all this type. You just don't rock up with a search warrant and walk in and knock on the door and, excuse me, sir, we've got a search warrant. You go in, you've got a plan of attack, everyone. You know who's going to hit the back door, who's going to hit the front door, whether there's firearms in that house, what people are likely to be in that house, what you're going to do once the search warrant's executed, what you're going to do with the people in the house once you enter the house and all that. You get them in the lounge room, you sit them down, search them, and you get them on the lounge chair. No one's allowed to move, all that type of stuff. There was a procedure in place when you execute. I did a lot of them, guys. I executed a lot of search warrants when I was a copper. I used to love doing it, going in and hitting houses for drugs and that. And when you did that, you had to be prepared that there could be weapons there. So what kind of weapons? I guess we'll find out in the near future, okay? And whether they're illegal firearms, did he have an AR-15 type weapon, a semi-automatic rifle? I don't know. It hasn't come out yet. If anyone knows anything different, let me know. Justin, if you hear anything, just keep me up to date, please, mate. I'm only going what I hear on the news. Yeah, so very sad that 2 police officers down in Victoria have lost their lives. Bloody terrible. Anyway, we'll see what comes out in the future, eh? And let's hope they catch the bugger, eh? Who else have we got on here? Lorna, someone's having a touring with Tyrone. Agree, Lorna McMillan. I have a son applying to Anna. Yeah, and anyone, Marky Lavelle. Mark was saying his sister was a police officer for 20 years and they were worried about her all the time, her safety. And as I said, it's one of those jobs where it's a dangerous job, everyone. You don't know. And as a general duties copper, as I did a bit of relieving in the CIB for a couple of months, but most of my time was in uniform as a general duties. And the most dangerous jobs we went to, you go to a pub brawl, guys, go to punch-ups at the pub, fair chance you could expect a punch in the mouth at best. Maybe someone might be armed with a knife, maybe. In an Aboriginal community, you could guarantee they'd have a knife on them, but in a town like Innisfail on that, you go to a pub blue, normally the fists were flying, and that was about it. The worst thing were domestics. You didn't know what to expect at a domestic. I remember Dad saying he had a mate blowing away at a domestic, knocked on the front door and shotgun through the front door. Dead. That was back in the 70s or the 60s or something. So, yeah, domestics were bloody dangerous. You're walking into the unknown there. You'd always turn up to a domestic knowing what firearms were registered to that house, but it didn't mean there were no illegal firearms there. And that was the other thing. You didn't know if there were illegal firearms. So you always had to plan for worst case scenario. So anyway, we'll get off that subject a bit more, but hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway, we'll get back onto camping. And as I said, everyone's looking forward to that. Gidgey's coming down, guys. He's starting to fire up for it now. And I think he's heading out on a camping trip this weekend with some friends up around Childers somewhere. So, yeah, it'd be good. I'm heading off. We're heading off on about the 11th, I think. So, yeah, we're going to make our way down. It is a long way for us, everyone, but I wouldn't miss this one for Quids. I was booked in to go to the Legends, the one in Victoria next year, but this one and then going back down to Victoria, it was a big ask, everyone. It was 6,000k round trip to the Victorian one for a 3-day event. It was a bit hard to justify that one. So I've got on to Ed and said, Ed, I'm not going to be able to make the Legends for charity in Victoria, mate. I'll support from a distance for sure, but I'll certainly be getting down to this one in Newcastle, guys. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so what I was saying, everyone, I'm keen to go and have a look at Stockton Beach or maybe even have a drive along Stockton Beach. If we have to get a permit for that, that's fine. A 1-day permit. It's about an hour to get there. A couple of hours, have a drive along the beach. Maybe take a bloody picnic or whatever. Have a drive along, do a little bit of a tag along Stockton. Maybe Brad can show us along Stockton Beach or whatever. I think it'll be good. So I know I'm going to try and go and do Fort Scratchley, everyone. Last time I was in Newcastle, I wanted to do the Fort Scratchley tour, but I didn't have time to do it. So, yeah, and the price of fuel. So, yeah, it all adds up, Lorna. It all adds up. So, no, it'd be good. So I'm keen to do Stockton Beach, maybe just have a look around, have a go and have a drive over to the tea, have a look around the tea gardens and all that type of place. It'll be good. And as Brad said, school holidays afterwards. So, yeah, it's going to be hard booking in anywhere for school holidays and that. So after the event, we'll head inland somewhere and start heading home, but do an inland type of thing. And I'll try and get through Surat if I can and pay my respects to Fisherman Fecky and Kobe. Did anyone see the one I put up? The Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls, everyone, last weekend won all 3 grades of the Rugby League finals. They're in the Roma competition against Chinchilla and Roma and the Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls They won the under-18s, the reserve grade, and the A grade. Okay, and as we know, Fisherman Fecky was a big part of that club, everyone, and his son Kobe played in the A grade side. Kobe was a very, very good footballer and was in the A grade side for the Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls, which is my old junior team, guys. I used to play for the Surat Red Devils in the 70s for junior football, and they combined with Wallumbilla way after I left and became the Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls. They used to be the Red Devils back in my day, and that was my first little rugby league club, the Surat Red Devils. And fast forward all those years, I stumbled across a bloke called Fisherman Fecky. We become really good mates, and that was his team, and out of Roma. And Kobe used to play there. Anyway, not all the boys, but they took all 3 shields out to the grave sites in Surat the other day, and they were all having a beer with, they had all the 3 under-18 reserve A-grade shields set up near Kobe and Fecky's grave sites, everyone, and they were all having a beer with Kobe and Fecky. They took the shields out to show. What a great touch that was. That was pretty moving. It really was. Absolutely bloody brilliant seeing that. Yeah, so Darren and Kobe, a beer from me when you go and visit him. Yeah, absolutely, Terry. I'll be doing that for sure, mate. And very sad, isn't it, that dad and son are buried beside each other out there at Surat now. And I know a lot of yous in here probably met Fecky, a better bloke you wouldn't meet. And I actually got to meet his son Kobe, everyone, couple of years ago, or last year, Roz, in Surat. Kobe and his girlfriend travelled down from Roma. We sat around for a couple of hours at the campsite and had a really good chat with Kobe about his dad and all that. And the year later, I find out Kobe's bloody taken his own life too. Very, very sad time. So anyway, hopefully get out there and pay my respects to both of them this time. Andy Riches is on, everyone. G'day, Andy, up there in the mother country. Hope you're well, mate. How's the bat going? Have you had it out in the park, slogging a few balls, mate? The old Raffershak bat up in the UK. Andy's the only one with a Raffershak bat up in the UK. So, yeah, it's good. Grant from Four Wheeler in New South Wales. Going to be good to run into you too, mate. I have not seen you since the Drifter event at Gloucester. How cold was that? Mate, that was, how many years ago was that, Grant? That was a long time ago, mate. It's going to be good to see you. And is Chloe, is that your daughter, mate? Chloe, geez, my memory's getting bad. Is your daughter coming to that? Chloe? Might not be Chloe. I'm making that up. Anyway, it's going to be good to see you there anyway. Bloody, when was that Drifter event at Gloucester? That must have been 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. Not used the cricket bat yet. No, that's all right, Andy. It's bloody almost too good to use. Mine's sitting in the background there, the old Raffershak bat. 2018, 7 years ago. So it was 7 years ago. Boy, oh boy, it goes. How cold. That was bullshit cold there. That was ridiculously cold there at Gloucester. I could not believe it was in May. I couldn't believe how cold it was there. Ridiculous. Anyway, it's going to be mid-20s down in New South Wales on the coast. So on the coast, it's going to be mid-20s. That'll be beautiful. Not too hot, not too cold. It's going to be just right for the camping event. Looking forward to the pizzas. It's going to be good. Soft, Greg Campbell reckons. Yeah, oh, mate, me and Roz thought we were prepared for the cold weather when we went down, and we were not. I said to Roz, I haven't experienced cold like this since I was in the army as a young bloke at Puckapunyal. It was one of my coldest ever experiences, sitting in the bottom of a gun pit in Puckapunyal, and I was freezing. My teeth, the old teeth were chattering. That's how cold it was. Gloucester was the same as that. Ridiculous. Justin said we'd like to make it to the Vic camping event if there are any spots left. Pick up our new van tomorrow. How many vans do you want? You only just got a new van. You fireys get paid too much. Dead set. Would like to make it to the Vic camping event if there are any. Pick up our new van tomorrow. You just got a new van, Justin, and you're getting another one. What happened? The other one rattled apart on the Gib River Road or something. Wow. Well, talking about the nights, yeah. At least the Knights are getting rid of their coach. The Cowboys are keeping theirs, which I'm not a real fan of. I was hoping we get not a lot of good coaches out there, is there, really? We were hoping to get Josh Hannay, guys, but he is going to, who picked him up? The Titans. The Titans got him. So we're stuck with our current coach, and I'm not quite sure who's going to the Newcastle Knights. The Knights were terrible this year, guys. I thought the Cowboys were bad. The Knights were even worse. They were both disgraceful. The Dogs will beat the Panthers tomorrow night. They will beat the Panthers C-grade side. Brett, the Panthers aren't fielding any of their players, which I think is bullshit. The Penrith Panthers are resting their whole A-grade side. I think they're resting the top 17, which is I don't agree with that. But anyway, they're entitled to do it. Greggy, who's going to be the new Newcastle Knights coach, mate? There was a few names getting thrown around. Should be a full review done on all players' managers. Yeah, so we'll just wait for Greg. Who's going to be your new coach, or who do you want to be the new coach, mate? Paulie Martin is, I don't think Manly's still in with a chance of getting in the 8, mate, but it's very, very slim, isn't it? I think it's very, very slim now. I think Canberra Dogs, I don't know. I can't see the Warriors doing it, guys. I can't see New Zealand Warriors win. I reckon it's going to be Canberra, Storm, Dogs and Penrith will be the 4 big ones. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Canberra Storm Green final, everyone. Maybe. Canberra, did you see the end to that game the other night when Cleary put the field goal in to win in Golden Point, hit the post, Canberra got the ricochet and went the length of the field to score in extra time in Golden Point. That was unbelievable. That was one of the best bits of rugby league I've seen in a long time. That was exciting. And I'll tell you now, I'd love to see Canberra take it out this year. They're an exciting football team. A lot of young blokes in there, exciting footballers. They don't play mundane, boring footy. That Kyo Weeks, their fullback, and young Savage on the wing, and they're an exciting football team. And I'd love to see Canberra win it this year. Rob the Wanderer reckons Canberra Storm Green final. Yeah, well, it well could be. Don't write Penrith off yet, but Penrith aren't out of this yet, guys, and nor are the Warriors and that. But I think the Doggies, I don't know about the Dogs. Brett's probably throwing shit at his computer about now. I don't know about the Doggies. Don't write the Dogs off. They can still come back. They're a good team, but I honestly think Melbourne Storm and maybe Canberra. We'll see what happens. I think Penrith's had their go, haven't they? They've won 4 in a row. Surely they can't do 5 in a row. They're going to finish out of the 5, out of the top 4, and the chances of winning out of the top 4 are very, very slim. You've got to win all your games right through. So we'll see what happens. James saying, best moment to see Penrith lose Golden Point twice. Yeah. Cleary normally doesn't miss, does he? When Cleary gets a chance to put a one-pointer over in Golden Point, he usually does not miss. Well, he has a couple of times now. And go the Cats. Justin, yeah. Justin's Geelong are up there, mate. They've got a chance to win the Aussie rules. Who else is up there? Is it Collingwood, Adelaide Crows, and the Brisbane Lions? So we'll see what happens. Bring back the top 5. Yeah. Paulie, yes. I don't mind the top 8, mate, where the top 4 play the bottom. I don't mind. They copied that off the Aussie rules, mate, the top 8 and how that runs. And it seems to work okay. It seems to come out all right. I don't mind the top 8 and the way it works. And I think it's good that if you finish in the top 4, if you lose your first semi-final, you get a second crack. I think you need to be rewarded for finishing in the top 4. I think it's the rugby league is the same process as the Aussie rules top 8, mate. The top 4 play, the bottom 4 play, and then they end up that way. And the top 4 get a second chance. So I think that's the fair way to do it. Looking forward to the NFL starting. Free and tickle. The NFL, I don't mind watching the NFL, but only the highlights. I can't watch a full game. It takes them 3 hours, everyone, to play a 1 hour game. So I don't mind watching the NFL highlights, but I can't watch a whole game. It's just like watching grass grow. It's a boring game. It really is. I'm a 49ers fan. I don't know why, but Jared Hayne used to play for the 49ers. I just go for the 49ers, something to do. But yeah, the NFL, I don't get right into it, but it's, to me, watching, it's just two stop and start. A lot of, every player in the NFL has just got one job, whereas in rugby league, you've got to be a defender, an attacker. You've got to be the jack of all trades, whereas in the NFL, you've just got one job to do. And you might be a punter. You come on, kick the ball, and you go off again. Just ridiculous. Fran Tickle's a Miami Dolphins supporter. Good stuff. The Hayne plane. Yeah, well, he had a crash from... He left the United States under a cloud, under a bloody sexual assault cloud, didn't he? He got to Australia, and the same thing happened here, and he ended up doing time in jail. Anyway, he got overthrown on an appeal, and he's back on with his life now. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, he had a big falling from grace, Jared, didn't he? He had the world at his feet, and he stuffed it up, silly bugger. Yeah, NRL's still the best sport in the world. I think so too, Paulie. It's good. What about Brandon Smith? He's in a bit of shit, and he's going to take some Roosters players down with him. Apparently 7 of them went to a golf weekend on the Sunshine Coast on there when he was with the Roosters. And Victor Radley's already been mentioned. So watch this space, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Roosters players start tap dancing after this. It's going to get ugly for the NRL. I'd hate to think how many NRL players I'd hate to think how many players in the NRL are on illicit drugs. I'd like to think not many, but I think I'm wrong. I think snorting white powder is a bloody very regular occurrence for a lot of the players. I hate to say that. Not good at all. And that Brandon Smith, remember when Munster and all them were found snorting some sort of substance off it? What other white powder do people snort off tables, guys? Come on. Let's be realistic. Brandon Smith was involved in that. And here he is a couple of years later, friggin' involved in another drug scandal. Here's my belief. If you get caught with anything to do with illicit drugs, and I'm talking marijuana, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, speed, all that shit, 2-year ban, minimum. Gone. What happened to that? Wendell Saylor got caught, didn't he, doing cocaine when he was with the Wallabies? He copped a 2-year ban, so he should have. And he did his 2-year ban. And now it's just like they're just watering it down. I think the NRL knows there's a problem with that behind the scenes. These young modern-day players seems to be the drug of choice. And I think that the NRL has buried their head in the sand. So there we go. I'll do a poll. Start a poll, everyone. Oh, good start, Buck. What do you think, guys? I hope I didn't took rifle then. Are drugs rife in the NRL? What do you? Yes or no? I think they are. I think we'd be horrified if we ever found out how many players are actually on it. Addo Carr got done cocaine. Ezra Mann, like Munster, the cheese. Where's it stop, guys? Where's it stop? How many of these young blokes are doing these recreational drugs on their weekends off? What's the piss testing like in the NRL? I know someone, I'm not going to mention names, I know someone who does piss testing for the NRL, And it's not like in prison. If we piss tested a prisoner, we used to have to stand beside them and watch them piss into a jar. We used to sit there, as unpleasant as that was, we used to have to sit there and watch the flow of urine go into a jar. Because if we didn't, they'd get a rubber glove, a finger, or get someone else to piss in a glove, and they'd pour that in. We had to observe the flow of urine into the jar. And then they'd put the lid on, we'd have rubber gloves on, and they would hand us the jar. So there was no chance of them using someone else's piss. Well, in the NRL, this person told me that they hand them the jar, they go away for a couple of hours somewhere, and they bring back a jar of urine. So they could get their mates or their brother or someone to piss in that jar and hand it back. There's no continuity of evidence. I'll put my old copper's hat on now. No continuity of evidence. You hand them an empty jar, you watch them piss in it, and you get that jar back. That doesn't happen in the NRL. So if they are on it, apparently they've got a chance to get someone else to piss in that jar for them. So there you go. They're not fair income, are they? I think the NRL don't want to catch people. I don't think they want to catch anyone because it makes them look bad. I'll tell you what, this poll's going the way I thought it would. Not quite as high. 100% reckon that a lot of the NRL players are doing illicit drugs. That's pretty sad to say that, isn't it? If we did this poll back in the 80s, this would not even be a subject. But today it is, because so many of them are getting done with it. It's just bullshit. Yeah. So see you, Terry. Safe travels over the border. I think Terry's heading over the border tomorrow. So g'day to you, Robin and Molly, mate. We'll see you down at the Camping with Mates event. And safe travels, mate. I think, where were you? You were in, forget where you were. Near the border anyway. Heading over into enemy territory, Terry. I'm disappointed you're not going to be zip tying the Maroons flag to your UHF whip tomorrow as you go over the border, mate. Get the rat bag horns going and show all them cockroaches who won the bloody Origin this year. Wixie said, we do random drug testing at work regularly. I had 4 of my apprentices pass with flying colours last week. Yeah, it's good. And that's what you want, Wixie. You want all that. You want that. Mate of mine used to work in the mines, and they used to work on the explosives. So they drill the holes, put the explosives in, and, where you see all the explosions go, and then the dozers come in, Phil and Nutty and that come in with the dozers, take all the topsoil off and expose the coal seam, and then they start mining coal. So there's a bit of a process there. So Paddy used to be the supervisor of the explosives gang. And he said the amount of times some of these young blokes on 135 or 140 grand a year getting top dollars to work week on, week off, drilling holes, putting explosives in, wiring them up and all that. It was a bit of a specialist type job. And they turn up to work pissed. And he'd go, mate, are you pissed? From the night before. And he'd just go, see you later, piss off. I don't want you here. They're handling explosives and they were turning up pissed. So come on. You've got to be no drugs detected, but you are 6 months 6 months pregnant. So we often did urine testing of prisoners weekly. We could do 6, 8 a day sometimes. And we'd have to sit there, hand them the jar, fill the paperwork out, ask them questions. You're on medication at the moment, blah, blah, blah. Because some of the medication that some of the prisoners were on could show up as a positive. So we would note that down and it would go away. They'd check it and go, nah, he's tested positive to so-and-so. He's on a bloody class 8 drug. That's what it would have been. But, yeah, but every now and then you'd do it. The strip would come back and go, positive, mate, you've tested positive to methamphetamine or tested positive to dope or whatever. You send it away to the lab, come back and go, yep, it came back positive. He had no reasonable excuse medication-wise, and they get breached and spent 7 days in the detention unit, locked away in isolation. 7 days, get that into you. So it wasn't a real big punishment, but we used to sit there and watch them piss into the jar. We actually watched the flow of urine. Apparently that's not done with the NRL, so it's a bit of a scam. So anyway, what we've still got 100%. Let's call that one up. End poll. Are drugs rife in the NRL? And 100% of you reckon they are. It's pretty sad to say that, isn't it? Not good at all. 55 votes, 100% of you. 55 of you reckon it is a problem. I think it is too, guys. And I think the NRL are burying their head. Someone needs to come out, Volandis, and go from 2026, there's going to be random drug testing, everyone. It's going to be stringent. You're going to be tested by third parties that aren't part of the club, and you'll be required to piss in a jar. That person, whoever's piss testing you, will observe the flow of urine into the jar. If you test positive, it'll go away to a lab. If you test positive to an illicit substance, you are banned for a minimum of 2 years from the NRL. Maybe that'll curb their behaviour. Maybe. We'll see how they go. But at the moment, they just, I don't know, club stands them down and then another club goes and bloody picks them back up. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Nearly 8 o'clock, guys. Won't keep you long, eh? I'll go at 8 o'clock and let you get along with it. So, yeah, what's Mark said? G'day all. How did I miss this? You didn't miss much, mate. We're just talking about the horrible event that happened in Victoria a couple of days ago, mate, and they still haven't found the guy. And then we've been talking about the camp. And, yeah, so it's going to be good. Who is going to do the Fort Scratchley tour? I'm keen to do that. I would love to do the Fort Scratchley. If you don't know much about Fort Scratchley in Newcastle, everyone, a Japanese submarine surfaced off Newcastle in World War II and was lobbing bombs onto the BHP steel because they were producing steel for the war effort. So the Japanese submarine was trying to hit the steelworks in Newcastle. As we know, Newcastle's a big steel city, or used to be up until recently. And Fort Scratchley actually fired their guns in anger at the Japanese submarine. So that fort in Newcastle has actually fired shots in anger, everyone, at a Japanese submarine during World War II. Did you know that? Did you know that a Japanese submarine shelled Newcastle in World War II? Did you know that Newcastle got start a poll? Be honest here, guys, if you didn't. Did you know that Newcastle got shelled in World War II? We all know Darwin got bombed, Horn Island got bombed. Did Broome get bombed? There's a few places. Catherine got bombed. South of Darwin, an Indigenous man lost his life down in Catherine, of all places. Darwin, definitely. Townsville got bombed a couple of times by the Japanese. Did you know that the Japanese bombed Newcastle via a submarine and that Fort Scratchley returned fire? So 58% said no, 56% said no, we didn't know. So there you go, guys, and that's what I mean. All this type of thing down there. I'd love to do the Fort Scratchley tour when I go to Newcastle. I reckon it's a good little tour. Probably go for an hour or so. I didn't get a chance to do it last time. Right near Nobby's there. Or is it? Is it near Nobby's? It's not far from there. Newcastle is spot on. And I'll tell you another place. Bobby and Kim Asser took me there. There's a walk along the headland at Newcastle, guys, and it's called the Anzac Memorial Walk at Newcastle. Do it. And as I said, I'm happy to, me and Gidgey will drive over and do that because I'll go over and do that with Ken. Come over when we do that, the Anzac Walk at Newcastle. It's bloody well worth doing, everyone. Absolutely worth doing. At Nobby's, is it, Mark? Yeah, well, there you go. Fort Scratchley's is not far from Nobby's. I thought it was. It's been a couple of years since I've been there. But the Anzac Walk along the It's right on the beachfront at Newcastle on a headland, and some of the scenery from up there on the Anzac Walk is stunning, guys. Newcastle is a stunning city. It really is. It's bloody beautiful. I can't wait to get back down there. There's a good doco on YouTube about it. James, on Fort Scratchley. Are you talking about Fort Scratchley? I'd love to see that. But yeah, I'd love to go and do the tour while I'm there if there's time. I mean, during the day, guys, get up, have a brew, have a chat, have a coffee at the coffee van. And then, you know, time's your own during the day. Get in a vehicle, get a couple of vehicles together and say, hey, I'm going out to Fort Scratchley to do a tour. Who's coming along? Or I'm going to go for a drive along Stockton Beach, or I'm going to go and do the Anzac Memorial Walk or whatever, and do a little tag along thing. So while you're down there, you don't want to be sitting around the campground and that's what the mornings and afternoons, get back, you know, and sit around the campfire at night and in the afternoon and that. But during the day, go and explore Newcastle. There's some beautiful play. If you're into wineries, guys, the Hunter Valley, some of the wineries out around Cessnock and that are stunning. Just beautiful wineries. They really are. In the Hunter Valley there, really good. I want to go through Singleton and have a look, and maybe go and have a look at the front gate of the School of Infantry at Singleton. I haven't seen that. So I wouldn't mind going out to Singo and having a look. And maybe on my way home, I can, me and Roz can go through Singleton and have a look and get a photo of the front gate of the School of Infantry, which is at Singleton there. And then we'll work our way inland and work our way home. We're going to go inland on the way home and hopefully hit a few towns that we haven't seen before. We don't want to go the same way. Try and hit a few different towns and do something a bit different, make a bit of a holiday of it. So, yeah, Scone is only 1.5 hours. I got a funny feeling we were going to come through Scone on the way down. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I thought we were going through Scone on the way down, mate. So Jennifer G's on. G'day, Jennifer. How are you? Mr. Bullet's on. Hey, Mr. Bullet, how are you over there in West Aussie? Singo, you're sounding like a local. Yeah. Now, all the army guys have been through Singleton, all refer to it as Singo. You speak to anyone who's in infantry, Brad, they'll all refer to Singleton as Singo. That's just what they call it, mate. Yeah. Jake's going to jump off. I'll have to chat later. Take care. Yeah, mate. All the best. I'm going to get off in a minute too. I just want to come on and have a quick chat with everyone and say a quick good day. Don't take the bypass buck. Okay. Is that through Scone or whatever, mate? Small arms factories at Lithgow, yes. Yep. Lithgow make all the styres and that at the small arms factory at Lithgow. So, question for the next poll. How long till Buck has to buy a bigger trailer for all his King's gear? Yeah, I know, Andy. Did everyone see? I got the bazooka guys, the bazooka water tank. Well, it fits perfectly on the front of that trailer. I've zip tied it on for now, but I've got a couple of big hose clamps. I'll get a couple more hose clamps on there. It fits beautifully there. That is a perfect spot. So I've got 20 litres of fresh drinking water or hand washing water to fill the billy up and that. When I use that as a camper trailer, I've got 20 litres of water on the front. Works really good. So the Hunter bypass will not allow you to see the small communities. Okay. Craig, yeah, all right, mate. So the Hunter bypass, don't take that. Actually go into the town. So, all right. Any Father's Day's ideas from Kings? Don't bloody ask me. Everyone's blaming me now because you're all spending money at Kings and all of a sudden it's Buck's fault. Don't blame me for shit. There was a bloke on there. What's his name? Oh, I forget your name now, but he's been sending me messages like, Buck, I'm going to buy a King's Esky. And do I need one? I said, I don't know, mate. Do you? Do you need an Esky? Like, I'm not going to answer that question for you. Like, if you need an Esky, a mid-size Esky, and you need one, buy it. It's good value. But if you don't need an Esky, don't buy it, mate. Like, and then I got another message. I bought it. It's like, all right, that's good. And then what was the other thing? And he's asking me whether he should buy something else. It's like, I don't know. I don't know your personal situations, everyone. I just buy shit from Kings if I think it's a good bit of gear and I can use it. And I just show you what's out there. So if you're out there and you don't go out and buy shit just because I buy it. Who was it? I'll think of his name in a minute. I met up with him in Mackay and he said, Buck, he said, my missus doesn't like you because everything you've reviewed on your YouTube channel, I bought. He said, I've had a Bidgie barbecue for 3 years and it's still in the box. I've never used it, but I bought it because you had one. And I said, mate, I said, don't just buy shit because I do a YouTube clip on it. Have a think about, do I need that or do I want it? Now, I'm bad for that too. When it comes to camping gear, you've got to ask yourself that question, everyone. Do I need that or do I want it? That's a big difference. I want everything in the King store. I want everything. Do I need it? No. But I want it, yes. There's a big difference. So when it comes to buying camping shit, guys, ask yourself, do I need it? Now, I must admit, I've got caught up and maybe once or twice I have bought shit because I wanted it, not needed it. And I'm the first to admit that. But don't go out and buy stuff because I've bought it, please. And there's a lot of people out there that do that. And I'm starting to feel bad that he's in the shit with his missus because I did a YouTube clip on it. Like, have a think about it and go, but that's a good bit of kit, but I don't really need that. That's great. I watched Cam Wild today. He did a YouTube clip on the Osprey fire pit. It's a fire pit with screw-on legs, stainless steel. It's got the swing around thing. Bloody brilliant. And I thought, oh, I'd like one of those. Yes, I would love one of those. Do I need it? No, I don't. I did go into the Osprey website, and when I saw that they were $599, that made my mind up that I do not need one and I do not want one. They are overpriced. They're not made in Australia and all that. I read the website and it goes, designed and tested in Australia. When you read that, guys, designed and tested in Australia, they leave that one little word out, manufactured. Where was it manufactured? I'll be a betting man, say China. And they're still charging $599 for a fire pit with a swing around stainless steel grill. I call bullshit on that. They probably get them for $100 out of the factory and stick $599 on them. Okay. And that's what I keep saying. At least Kings keep their prices realistic, everyone. You can walk into a King's store and the average bloke can afford to buy something in there. Go into Osprey or Darcy or one of these stores like that. You've got to be a millionaire to buy their shit. And I just hate people that price gouge. And I think Osprey is one of them. There's a lot of companies out there that do it. Oz Tent, the Oz Tents. You think Oz Tent, Australian tent. No, it's not made here. It's just designed in Australia. Yeah, whoopee-doo. Designed in Australia. What they do is they go on bloody Alibaba, find a tent, and then get on an email and go, mate, can you just put an extra eyelet here and here for me? And then, no, that's designed in Australia. Put a Buckaroony label on it, and it's designed and tested in Australia, but it's made in China. And then I'll go and whack bloody 600% on the price. Bullshit. So at least Kings keep their prices realistic, everyone. And that's why I like Kings. The average punter can go into that store and buy some camping gear and not go broke. We go broke because we go overboard and we buy too much shit, not because of the price of the items, okay? It's because we buy too much stuff. Kings are hiring a lot of people. Yeah, when you go into the King store, Craig, it's bloody, they got good staff in there. And I'll tell you now, you walk into the Cairns or Townsville shop, soon as you walk through the door, you're greeted with a, hey, mate, how are you? Whether they're on the cash register or whatever, They'll look over and go, "G'day, mate, how are you?" And a lot of the times, as soon as you walk through the door, someone walks up to you and goes, "Can I help you with anything?" "No, mate, I'm just looking around." "Okay, mate, if you need anything, come and grab me." And I've been a few times where I've walked in and said, "Yeah, I know what I want, mate. I want this, 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 and this." And they go, "Right, mate, I'll grab a trolley for you." They grab a trolley and they follow you around. "You want one of them?" "Yep." "This?" "Oh, mate, this is in a bundle deal at the moment. You're better off just grabbing that and that. It works out cheaper than just grabbing that." So that they help you out. Bloody great staff in the King store. They really are. Here we go, back 10 years. I was paying out on that store for what they did to Drifter back in the day. That's old water under the bridge there, guys. I'm not even going to go into the story there, but it was when Tofty was running the Drifter store in Brendale and the King store were over the road and Kings did the dirty and whatever. But that's 10 years ago, guys. Bloody can't hold a grudge that long. It was probably just a couple of people over in the store at the time. But at the moment, I can't fault the staff in the King stores in Cairns or Townsville. Really, really good service. Really good service. Can't fault it. Absolutely brilliant. Lukey Reed, but going to Kings on Sunday. No, I'm not, Luke. I am not going to the King store. I'm going down to Townsville on Sunday because it's Mum's birthday. Mum's going to be 84, everyone, on Sunday. So I'm going down, shout Mum some Chinese or take her out to the Kerwin Tavern or somewhere, wherever Mum wants to go to dinner. She'll probably just say, "No, get some Chinese." Bit of a family tradition. We used to always get Chinese takeaway for her birthday. So I might grab Mum some Chinese or whatever and go down and spend the 84th birthday with her. It's only 3 hours down there and say g'day to Mum. 84 and she is still working full-time, guys, as a nurse. She is still nursing full-time at the Townsville Hospital. Can you believe that shit? Tough old lady. She really is. Refuses to retire. So, Aussie, mate. Justin said something about an Aussie fire pit then. I won't be getting any more fire pits, mate. I've got enough. My Snow Peak fire pit, I used that last time I went down to Cowley Beach, and that works fine. Folds flat, and my Snow Peak fire pit does everything I need it to do. I can cook on it and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, happy with that. There's a farm and a factory for sale in Gloucester at the moment. I wonder whose that could be. Is that right, Greg? Is that right? Wow. Where's he moving? Thailand, is he? Yeah, I don't follow the guy anymore, so well, good luck to him, whatever he's doing. There's a farm and a factory for sale in Gloucester. Oh, dear. Okay. I know he's closing all his stores down at the moment. There's Perth's closed, Brisbane's closing. The drifter stores are all closing down, guys. I don't know what's going on there. Don't know. Don't really care either, to tell you the truth. Whatever he does, good luck to him, and I don't know. I don't really get involved in that anymore. Lynn, Sunday, Mum's 84 on Sunday, the 31st. So, yeah, and she's still working full-time. Can you believe that? She is from a tough generation, born in 1941. I'll tell you a story, guys. It's pretty horrific. Mum was born in a little town called Texas on the Queensland border. Queensland, New South Wales border. It's on the Queensland side, on the Jimeric River. When you see Jimeric, no one knows how to pronounce that name, but it's pronounced Jimeric. So Texas, beautiful little town. Used to be a rabbit factory there. Anyway, Mum's family was from just outside Texas, a little place called Limevale. And they were all on wheat farms, sorghum, sheep, cattle, all that type of stuff. So, and I remember helping out as a young kid in primary school, school holidays. Mum and Dad would bring us out to Texas from, we were living out Cunnamulla and Surratt and those western towns. We used to go into that, and Dad used to help out, and Mum would come in and say good day to Mama and help out around the house and that. And me and Dad would go out and help plough the fields and whatever. And I used to help in the shearing shed, sweeping the wool up and help spread the wool over the spreaders and press the wool with the old manual presses. And really, the Jimeric, that's it, Brad. It's pronounced Jimeric. It's a weird way of spelling, isn't it? It's pronounced Jimeric. Yeah, so I used to help out in the shearing shed there. I forget where I was going with this now. Oh, and behind Mama and Poppy's property was Oakey Creek. There was a big creek there. Yellow belly in there. Mum used to go fishing down there with her brothers at Hitchener's Corner. Hitchener's were the neighbours, and there was a big bend on Oakey Creek, and Mum and her brothers used to go fishing for yellow belly down there. Anyway, during the war, Mum was born in 41, so Mum was the youngest, and she had some older sisters and that, a couple of years older. And Mama, my grandmum, Mum's mum, everyone called her Mama, she said, if the Japanese came down this far, Mama told the kids this when they grew up. She said, I was going to take you down into Oakey Creek and drown you all, because I heard how barbaric the Japanese were, and Mama was going to take the kids down to the river and drown them. I shit you not. I still remember Mum telling me that. Mama said, I'd rather yous all be dead than they were hearing stories of how barbaric the Japanese were up in New Guinea to Australian soldiers and to prisoners of war and all that. So, yeah, geez, things were real back then, weren't they? The bloody thing. Anyway, I said to Mum, what do you want to do when you pass away, Mum? And she says, I want to be cremated, and I want you and Ken, me and Gidgee, I want you to spread my ashes at Hitchener's Corner. She said, where I used to go fishing with my brothers on Oakey Creek, just out the back of Limevale there. There's a Oakey Creek winds its way through and I think runs into the Jimerick River. So I don't want to write her off yet, but when Mum does pass away, she wants to be cremated and wants me and Ken to spread her ashes at Hitchener's Corner at a Limevale outside Texas there. So there you go, guys. Bit of a morbid subject there, but yeah, how hardcore is that? Mum's mum was going to drown the kids in the river if the Japanese got down that far. Friggin' hell. We think we got problems. Imagine being back then in World War II and hearing all the horror stories about the Japanese and not knowing if they were going to invade, knowing they were coming across the Kokoda and big battle up off North Queensland in the Solomon Sea and near the Solomon Islands or whatever, in the Coral Sea, I should say, and not knowing if the Japs were going to land. People's asses must have been doing one of them back in the day. They were hard people. And you only have to look at Mum, 84, still working full-time, still nursing full-time, and still reckons she can mix it with the young nurses, making beds and all that type of stuff. She reckons she can still mix it with the young ones. She said, I can make a bed better than any of them young nurses. So, tough old bugger, tough old generation back then. What were they? Not the boomers. What were the ones before there? Yeah, I think Mum was a boomer, wasn't she? I can't remember. Boomers went from 41 to 63, I think it was, the baby boomers. So, yeah, tough generation. Roz is a boomer, guys. Roz is a boomer. Greggy Campbell's a boomer. They didn't make it into Gen X. They're too old for Gen X. They're boomers. So Greggy Campbell and Roz and probably a few others out there are baby boomers from the baby boomer generation. So there you go. Yeah, Mrs. Rogers is a legend, yeah. And so is your mum, Mark. Marky sent me a video the other day, guys, of his mum in a nursing home, and old lady now, and she's sitting there and loves her Rafa book, everyone. Sitting there reading her Rafa book, and it just bloody puts a smile on my face when I see that. It really does. Gee whiz, that just made it all worthwhile seeing that type of stuff. What is Gen X? Gen X is 65 to 80, Lynn. 1965 to 1980 is Gen X. That's where I fall. Me and Gidgee and probably a lot of us here are Gen X. Jack Turtle would be a boomer. He's a turtle boomer, a bloody Ninja Turtle boomer. Jack and Mayo, they'd be boomers. So if you're 64 backwards, guys, 64, 63, 62, back into the 40s, I think you're boomers. 65 to 80 was Gen X. And then 81 to 90, mid-90s, I think, was Gen Y or the millennials, which is my son and daughter are millennials, or Gen Y. Don't get millennials mixed up with Gen Z. That's where it all went wrong. That is where it all went wrong, was with Gen Z, guys. Oh, dear. We won't go there. Yes, that was my dad, Karen. My dad was born in 1928, 28 to 45. Oh, that includes mum too, sorry. So mum's not a boomer. She was the silent generation. I was only looking up the generation names the other day. My grandfather, who was 1899, they were the forgotten generation, I think. He was a light horseman around the 1900s. They were the forgotten generation. So Karen's just saying 28, which is when my dad was born, 1928 to 1945, the end of the war, known as the silent generation. They were silent. They just got on and got things done. And that's how my dad and mum, they didn't whinge about it. They just got on, went to work, and just got the job done. Got the job done. And that's why, without going down a rabbit hole here, that's why I think our country is as great as it is, guys, is because of these previous generations that have forged the pathway for us. And I'd like to think that Gen X, we tried to keep that going a bit, and Gen Y maybe, and then Gen Z come along and she all fell apart. Don't get me started on that one. So, yeah, I think we're getting softer. Each generation seems to be getting softer and softer. I know my dad thought I was a softie. We're digging a hole one day, and I remember Dad going, "You're a big, tough footy player, and you can't dig a hole." Like, Dad was disgusted because I was huffing and puffing digging a hole in the backyard or something. And he's going, "You can play footy, go on about how good a footballer you are, you can't dig a hole." So Dad's probably, he probably looked at me as being weak. And Dad's dad, who was a light horseman, probably looked at Dad and thought, "You're weak." So the generation's just getting softer as we go along. But anyway, we're all getting old. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. We are all getting old. And I know a lot of us in this community, there's not a lot of young ones there. I think Lukey Reed's one of the youngest ones in here. Here we go. Here's a poll, guys. Start a poll. How do I start a poll? I've got to end this poll. I had a poll going. Do you know that Newcastle got shelled during World War II? 49% said yes. 51% said no. Well, there you go. So it did. A Japanese submarine shelled the BHP steel factory in Newcastle because it wanted to interrupt the steel. They were building ships and guns and, all that type of stuff. Steel's an important commodity, especially during wartime. And the Japanese were trying to throw a bit of a spanner in the works there and shelling the BHP. It got a few rounds off, apparently, and Fort Scratchley opened fire on it. Good on you, Fort Scratchley. So there you go. Here we go. Start a poll. Are you Gen X or older? So if you are Gen X, guys, is from 65 to 80. So if you were born after 1980, you're a Gen Y or a Gen Z. So are you Gen X or older? So if you're a Gen X or a boomer or Mr. Bullet was from the silent generation, I think, the 1899 generation. Mr. Bullet, he was from the silent generation. He's probably the oldest one on here. Mr. Bullet will be throwing shit at his computer now, going, "You cheeky young prick." So, so I know most of you are around my age here. There are some younger ones. I'm thinking Lukey's still in his 30s. So Lukey's 34. So Lukey's probably one of the younger ones in this community, everyone. Not that 34 is young, but compared to some of us, it is. Is anyone younger than Lukey? 81. Chuck Berry, 81. So you're a bloody Gen Y, mate. You're Gen Y. You just missed out on Gen X. So Gen Y started, or the millennials started from 81 through to mid-90s or something, 95 or something. So my son Phil was born in 84. He's a Gen Y or millennial. and my daughter Lauren was born in 94. She's a Gen Y. I think just after maybe 95 or whatever is when Gen Z started, I think. And that's when we started going downhill big time. So Jeff Caneen, 1961. Matthews, 47. 1947, Matthew, or you're 47 years old. Justin Dillon, bullshit, Justin, 25. And some. 25. Get your hand off it, lad. How old is Landy, everyone? Landy looks like he's about 12. I reckon Landy looks 12. He's a bit older than that, but he looks about 12 with his little Eddie Munster haircut. Landy looks the youngest out of the whole community. I think Landy's got us there. James, 1967, so a couple of years younger than me. 77, Craig's a 77 model. Lynn's not saying what age she is. Jordan's 31. Are you 31, Jordan, with long hair? So you're younger than Lukey. Jordan's younger than Lukey, everyone. So there you go. Charles Spadowski, 1971. So you're a year younger than Gidgey, mate, me brother. Gidgey's 1970. 31-year-old. So we've got a couple of younger ones on there. Mr. Bullet, born in 1852, everyone. I knew he was the oldest on here. 1852. What generation was that? Generations hadn't even been invented when Mr. Bullet was born. Andy Riches. Andy's a little bit younger than me. Andy be Gen X. 78. Paulie Martin is a boomer. Paulie's a boomer, everyone. He was the last of the boomers, 1964. Lynn's Gen X. Lynn's 59 on Friday. Happy birthday for Friday. Let's give Lynn a thumbs up, everyone. Lynn Rogers is 59. No relation to me. Her mum and dad left the D out of her name. So Lynn is 59 on Friday. Let's give Lynn a thumbs up for Friday, everyone. Happy birthday, Lynn. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you get spoiled. So, yeah, let's give Lynn a thumbs up, everyone. Where's my thumbs ups here? A few thumbs. Where's the thumbs? Thumbs. Here we go. Oh, everything's so bloody small. Here we go. Thumb. Let's do a brown thumb. Heap of brown thumbs. There we go. There you go, Lynn. Thumbs up for Friday, mate. Happy birthday. Yeah, so are you Gen X or older? 77% of yous are. 23. So I thought it'd be a bit higher than that, guys. So we have got some younger ones on there, some Gen Ys. Good stuff there, guys. It's good to have some of the younger ones on there. Lukey and Jordan. Glenno, I was going to say. Jordan Glennon. So, yeah, fantastic. So most of us are around, from the good generation. The Gen X, that was a good generation. Everyone, I still reckon it was a good generation, Gen X. The old 80s music. Who remembers the 80s music? There was some good stuff in there. There was some cheesy stuff. Who remembers Shakin' Stevens, The Green Door? Who remembers Shakin' Stevens, guys, on Countdown? They were the days. Shakin' Stevens. Marky Lavelle, he was a Shakin' Stevens fan, big Shaky fan. Here we go, guys. What country was Shakin' Stevens from? Who's the first one to answer the correct one? Where was he from? Shakin' Stevens. This old house has got the shingles. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it, Mark. Where was Shakin' Stevens from, everyone? UK. More information required. No, he wasn't a POM. Shaky wasn't a POM. Yes, Fran Tickle. He was Welsh. Shakin' Stevens was from Wales. Who was it? Yeah, Cardiff, Wales, Jordan. Well Googled, Jordan. I'm having trouble with your name tonight. Well Googled, Jordan. Yeah, Shaky was from Wales. Who remembers another cheesy band? Adam and the Ants. Who remembers that? Marky Lavelle used to go to discos, everyone, with the white stripes painted on his face because he wanted to look like Adam out of Adam and the Ants. Who remembers Adam and the Ants? Geez, the 80s had a lot to answer to. There was some cheesy shit back then, wasn't there? There was some cheesy stuff back in the 80s. Let me tell you, Madonna, all that, Ant music, yeah. Adam Ant, my man. That's the one. Marky Lavelle, I reckon he'll turn up. Mark's going to turn up at the camper with mates event guys with the white Indian paint on his face like Adam and the Ant did. Dear. They were one that mob, weren't they? They used to, Molly Meldrum used to rave on about them. They had one thing. Who remembers an Aussie band called Hush? I got a girl called Boney Maroney. Who remembers that song from the 80s? Or was that from the set? No, that was a 70s song. That we're going back to the 70s now. Yeah, Boney Maroney. Who sang that, Mark? I got a girl called Boney Maroney. Was it Hush? And Ted Mulry Gang was another good 70s band. Sherbet. I went and saw Sherbet and Ted Mulry out in Roma when he was in primary school. 1975. Sherbet and Ted Mulry. Ted Mulry were better than Sherbet. They were way better. Hush, it was, yeah, Boney Maroney. So a lot of you young Lukey Reeds going, what are you blokes on? Dead set, what are you on? So Captain Matchbox, I have not heard of him. Captain Matchbox. I was thinking the other day, I'd love to come on and do a live feed one night about all these old songs that we used to watch on Countdown and that, but you can't do it because they copyright you. I reckon it'd make a fantastic night. Someone just mentions, remember this song? And I could pull it up and you could play a bit of it. And some of you guys may not have heard it out there. So, but as soon as you do that, you get copyrighted. I tried to do it with good old 1970s comedies and that night, remember? And anything that was to do with the BBC was copyrighted and I got blacked out on a live feed. So definitely with music, it wouldn't, yeah, AC/DC, Long Way to the Top, Jailbreak. I think Jailbreak was one of the first songs. What came first, Mark? Was it Jailbreak, where they were on the rock and some of them were dressed up as prisoners and some dressed up as cops? The original Jailbreak film clip, or was it A Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll when they went down Swanston Street on the thing? Which one of those came? I still remember seeing AC/DC were a big part of Countdown back in the 70s, everyone. So, yeah. Sherbet were huge back in the day. Ted Mulry had some really good songs. Ted died of cancer, apparently. Jailbreak was about 73, so it was before A Long Way to the Top. Good stuff. Someone was saying that when AC/DC come out to Australia in December, they may try and recreate The Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll on the back of a truck down Swanston Street. And as we know, Angus is the only one left from that film clip that's still in the band. And there's talk that they may, Justin Dillon might have told me this, guys, they might try to recreate that film clip. Angus Buckaroony has gone into retirement, Bradley Howell, and will not appear ever again. Let me tell you, I never recovered from the last one. Angus Buckaroony has retired well and truly. So hope Terry G has his turntables with him. I don't know. Oh, he's gone now. We'll have to text Terry tomorrow and ask him if he's got his turntables on. So him and Paulie Martin can get up and crank a bit of music up. How good was that at the last event, everyone? The Legends for Charity at Goombra. Terry brought all his DJ stuff down, and Terry and Paulie Martin took it in turns to do all the music at that. It was bloody fantastic. It was what a great event. And for those people who haven't been to one of these events, this one, it's not so much of a charity event. It's just a get-together, and they're my type. I like the get-togethers where it's not too fancy, guys. So I think it's all about just sitting around a campfire, having a beer, having a chat, and just bloody talking to good people. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get down there. And someone I really am looking forward to meeting in real life is Marky Lavelle, guys. We become good mates over. We text each other all the time. Every footy game, we're texting each other and that. I still haven't met Mark in real life, and I can't wait to. I've met him over live feeds and all that. Haven't met Mark in real life yet, so I'm really looking forward to shaking hands with you, Mark, when I get down there, mate, and sitting down and having a really, really good chat with you. Bloody one of the great people in this community, and that's what makes this community so special is bloody good people like you in here. So anyway, on that note, guys, Lizard Ears. Is Lizard Ears on? I haven't seen Lizard. Is there? Skyhooks were good. Yes. How are you, Lizard? I haven't seen you for a while, mate, or I've just missed your name. Shirley Strawn, guys, was the lead singer of Skyhooks and tragically got killed in a helicopter accident. Right, bloody, what a wonderful bloody lead singer he was. And he went on to do Shirl's Neighbourhood, kids program and all that. He was fantastic, Shirl, and killed in a bloody helicopter accident of all things. So very sad. No, Jordan, there will be no VB with my name on it down there, let me tell you. You won't see me with that shite in my mouth. If that ever goes near my lips again, guys, there'd be some big charity money behind it, let me tell you. For me to neck a bloody can of VB, there would have to be a lot of money going over for charity. And this ain't a charity event, so don't get any ideas. All right. Yeah, the Angels. How good were the Angels? No, that was not the Eagles. That was the Angels, James. The Eagles were an American band, Hotel California, which I reckon's in the top 3 songs of all time. Hotel California. I reckon. Here's my top 3 songs ever. Hotel California, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, and California Dreaming by the Mamas and Papas. That's my top 3 ever songs, I reckon, in the top 3. That's something we could probably talk about on another live feed, is everyone come on with your best ever, 3 best ever songs ever. I think those 3 are well up there. The Radiators, yeah, I've seen the Radiators. Me and Gidgey went and saw the Radiators at the Melanesia Village in Hervey Bay, which is now known as Kondari Resort. It was called the Melanesia Village back in the day. And me and Gidgey went and saw the Radiators in Hervey Bay, of all places. So, yeah, they were a pretty good band back in the day, back in the 80s. Mamas and Papas. Lizard Ears, mate. Not Hotel California. California Dreaming by the Mamas and Papas. That's got to be in the top 3. Marky Lavelle, he saw the Radiators in Sydney in 1991. I'm going back to the 80s when I saw them, mate, in Hervey Bay. Yeah. So I reckon that's my top 3. Stairway to Heaven, got to be in there, hasn't it? Led Zepp. California Dreaming, the Mamas and Papas. And what was the other one? Hotel California by the Eagles. That's my top 3 best ever songs. I know you're probably thinking Elvis has got to be in there somewhere. I don't know. Depends what you like. But I reckon those 3 songs you still hear on the radio these days, and they still hold their own. They are just absolute classic songs. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go, guys. 8:36. I was going to go 36 minutes ago. We had a 6-hour blackout today, power outage, and I ran the house just using the Jackery, not my backup batteries, the Jackery only. And I had a couple of King solar panels powering the Jackery, and I still had 71% left in the Jackery after 6 hours of powering the house. We had the fridges, freezer, lights, ceiling fans, computers, TV going, and the Jackery used 29% of its battery. And I was just topping it up using 2 200-watt King solar panels, guys. So got through another 6-hour power outage today, guys. Worked a bloody treat. Fantastic. Night all. See you again. I won't be on Sunday morning, everyone. I'll be in Townsville down for Mum's birthday. That's why I wanted to come on tonight and say good day to everyone. So no live feed this Sunday morning, everyone. Cowboys Broncos on the weekend. Go Cowboys. We've won 2 in a row now. Be good to see us do the Broncos, but it is down in Brisbane. It's going to be a hard task, and then we've got a bye after that. So anyway, I think the top 4 is pretty well sorted, guys. It doesn't matter what happens there. The Broncos are in the top 8, so good luck to them in the finals as well. Good night, everyone, and I'll probably have another live feed before I head off for the camping with mates. So I've got a big trip to get down there, and I'm going to meet up with Gidgey north of where we're going. I'm meeting up with Gidgey, and then we're both coming in together, me and Roz and Gidgey. So no, it'd be good. Anyway, and then after that, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm heading inland and going to go somewhere different on the way home. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. How do I end this stream, Bradley Howell? See yous.